cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to code, sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same empire back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.
What's happening, black people? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I want to say good morning to everybody. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Despite all the chaos and all the craziness that people are debating and arguing about online, I think today is an amazing day. And it's also a great day to be black. It's always a great day to be alive. And so I want to celebrate that with you guys. I want to say welcome also to drboycetv.com. This is the home for intelligent black people. So if you're not black and intelligent, you probably want to get the fuck out. This is where we discuss issues, any issue, without fear of any sort of controversy or whatever. In fact, the controversial stuff to me is the most interesting stuff, because that's when you get a chance to move the needle on intellect and thinking and where we are as people. So I really enjoy that very much, actually. And so anyway, do me a favor, shout out the city that you're from. Let me know what city you're watching from, and I'll if I see your city out in the chat, I'll try to shout back at you. What's up to everybody on Instagram? My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. Also, don't forget you have the Black Financial Channel, which is a black-owned daily financial news and commentary platform that gives you financial news and information from a black perspective. So if you like financial stuff, then sign up at theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. All right, so let's break this down right quick. Let's jump into it. This morning I woke up and I saw I don't get a chance to watch a lot of live streams, but I did see my homeboy David Banner was live, and he was live with my homeboy was live with my favorite rapper. David Banner is a great rapper too. Don't get me wrong. I love the guy. He's a great rapper, great intellect. But T.I., I would. You guys don't know this. I don't know how many of you knew that T.I. is actually my favorite rapper. Well, anyway, so David Banner was live with my favorite rapper T.I., and so I said, "Oh, this is cool," and I was actually, ironically, I was listening to a T.I. song when I heard David and T.I. were live, when Instagram pops up with a notification. So I'm like, oh, well, let me just see what Tip has to say about this, because I'd be really curious to know what his thinking is. I didn't get a chance to I don't know him that well. I saw him in Ghana when we were in Ghana. And we were over there together, but we didn't get a chance to talk much. I talked a lot to Jamal Bryant and some other people, but Tip and I didn't get a chance to talk much. But anyway, I saw these two were talking, and I was really curious to know what people were thinking, because I went to sleep really processing this and really trying to understand what's really going on. I don't like to, allow my pro-blackness to be defined in any way other than what I believe it authentically needs to be. I don't go along with bandwagons. I'm not going to follow along with shit just because it's popular or just because everybody thinks that. There have been many, many cases in which the majority of people were just wrong. So one of the things that I do is I look at all sides. I want to listen to the liberals. I want to listen to the conservatives. I want to listen to the black people. I want to listen to the people that are not connected. I want to listen to the business people. I want to listen to the workers, the rich, the poor, the educated, uneducated, Southerners, Northerners, conservative, liberal, all of that. I like to hear all perspectives, because then you can draw a complete picture. And then what happens is when I go to sleep, my brain, if I'm obsessed with something and really thinking about it a lot, like I've been thinking about this stuff a lot, my brain will piece all this together. I had a long 3-4 hour dream about all of this, but it was all presented in symbolism. But what happens when you're with, I happen to be marrying a beautiful black woman who is a expert on the subconscious mind, and she's fascinated with dreams and what they mean. And what she says is that when I'm dreaming about this, that's my subconscious, which is the smartest part of your brain, by the way. That's the subconscious piecing together everything to help you see things that maybe you can't see with your first two eyes, right? Your subconscious is your third, fourth, and fifth eye. So I went to sleep, and my third, fourth, and fifth eye were kind of looking around and processing everything and hearing all points of view. And then I woke up and I said, I think I have a little more insight on this. And then I'm downstairs with the 9-year-old, and she's showing me how to make a cake with by putting milk and Oreo cookies in a cup and then putting it in the microwave. And she's like, "Well, you want to eat this cake with me?" I'm like, "No, I'm 48. I can't eat that much sugar in the morning unless you want me to die this afternoon." And but we're making the cake, and I'm listening to a T.I. song. And then I saw T.I. and David Banner were live on Instagram. That was my morning. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. And so anyway, so I was listening to what they had to say. And I especially was curious because, you know, they're in a political and how can I say it? Political and environmental hotbed. Atlanta is one of the hottest spots in the country right now in the battleground over this, you know, situation, like how to respond to the coronavirus. What do? Do you stay? Does everybody stay home? Does everybody go to work? What do you, and what's really interesting to me about it is how the opinions just really lie along party lines, political party lines. You know, if you're Democrat, chances are you believe, you know, that anything that comes out of the conservatives' mouths is crazy. That we should all stay home. And that, you know, and then they have slogans, you know, like, you know, my life is, I'm not going to sacrifice my life for capitalism, you know, things like that. And that all sounds good. I mean, I get that. I understand capitalism very well. I'm a finance professor. But, you know, but really, I don't see it as sacrificing a person's life for capitalism. I see it as, if I'm going to work, I'm not doing it for capitalism. I'm doing it for my children. If I go to, how many of y'all go to work every day? How many people in here before this happened went to work every day? Give me a yes or no in the chat. If you got up in the morning, put your clothes on, you know, or got up in the morning, took showers, put your clothes on, got in the car and drove to a job or of some sort, or if you've ever done that. Give me a yes or no in the chat. If you have ever gotten up in the morning and left the house so that you could go do something maybe that you didn't even really want to do that much, in order to make money so you could pay the bills. How many of you have done that? How many workers we got in the building? All right, so okay, a lot of y'all workers. Good, I respect that. How many of you, give me a yes or no, when you did it, were you doing it because you just love capitalism and you wanted to do it to preserve capitalism? How many of you, did you do it for, in fact, type one of two words, either capitalism or your kid or your family. Who were you working for when you got up every day and you went to work every day? Were you doing it to preserve capitalism? So if you were doing it to preserve capitalism, type capitalism in the chat. Or were you doing it for your family? Type family in the chat. Were you doing it for the politicians, or were you doing it for your family, yourself, or your children? Right? So I think that if we're gonna really have conversations about this, we got to make sure we tighten up the rhetoric and observe things with a critical eye. In fact, the reason I even wore this shirt is this is my fuck you shirt to the Democratic and Republican parties. This is me saying to both of them, kiss my black ass, because Democrats have put a lot of my brothers in prison right now, and sisters too, that are still locked up right now. Black folks still locked up from the 90s over minor drug offenses because of Joe Biden and Bill Clinton, and y'all ain't let those people out. Well, you know what? Whatever they dealing with is far worse than the corona stuff. I mean, they dealing with corona, and they dealing with, you know, living in subhuman conditions where, you know, somebody might be trying to rape you every day and beat your ass and treat you like an animal. Like so screw you. Because you've never done anything that's elevated our community at any point. I cannot, in my mind, go back to any point where you have improved the black condition in any significant or meaningful way. I cannot think of any time where I was able to talk about all the black death that was occurring in black neighborhoods, from shootings and all kinds of other stuff, whether it's drugs and crime and chaos and unemployment. I spoke on that for many years. Many people have, and you never said a word. But now suddenly you're so sensitive to black people dying, you know, from this virus, but you ain't never had nothing to say about black people dying before. How convenient for you. How convenient. You sound like a frat boy who brings you flowers on a Friday night because he's trying to get a piece of ass. Right? Seriously, that's what they are. They're like the frat boys. You know what I'm talking about, ladies. You know, the guys, you ever notice how guys can be super nice when they trying to get some ass, right? And then after it's over with, they don't remember who you are anymore. They don't want nothing to do with you. Well, you know, it's the same thing with these Democrats. Republicans, I ain't never been down with the Republicans. I don't care. I don't even think about the Republicans that much. So they don't owe me anything because I've never given them a vote. And so I vote black. In every election, I vote black. And voting black for me means that when I'm giving my time and my energy every day, I'm giving it to strategies that I truly believe to the core of my being to have a significant impact on the well-being of my community. Who am I going to vote for? I'm not voting for anybody until somebody earns my vote. My vote is up here. Their standards are down here. I'm like the girl who's too good to date the shitty guys in the neighborhood. Like I'm the stuck up. You got the stuck up girl in the neighborhood who's like, I'm not dating a thug. I'm not dating an abuser. I'm not dating a guy who can't spell. I'm just gonna wait until the right person comes along. So I'm like that when it comes to voting. I'm waiting for the right situation. I'm waiting for the right politician to come along and give me a proposal that says, okay, I get this. I think I can support this person. Okay, so anyway, let's keep going. So hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. Just a reminder, 3 things today. 3 things we have for you that I think you're gonna love. One, Dr. Claude Anderson's coming on today on drboystv.com at 2:15 p.m. Eastern. So 2:15 p.m. Eastern, tune in to drboystv.com, and Dr. Claude Anderson's going to be in the house. He's the author of Powernomics. He's going to have a lot to say on this. We need to listen to our elders in situations like this. Number 2, tonight is Black Movie Night. I told you guys that we're building a Black Hollywood because I'm sick of white Hollywood. I'm sick of the racism. I'm sick of the other people controlling our image. I'm sick of stupid Harry Tubman movies. I'm sick of them putting out stuff like The Butler and The Maid and expecting you to go enjoy that crap. I'm sick of Disney sucking $1 billion out of the black community when they make a Black Panther movie, but you got people out here that can't raise $100,000 for a school. I'm sick of all of it. So in order to fix that, we have Black Movie Night, which is about once a month. It's totally free for the public. All we need is, we don't need you to pay money. We just need you to pay attention. Pay attention to your own people. You pay attention to Hollywood. You pay attention to your boy who got the deal with Netflix and he made that show Black AF, which, by the way, I did my research. It looks like half of his writers are not even black people, right? So I'm sorry. I can't imagine black people coming together and creating a show called Jewish AF and having a bunch of black writers describing the Jewish experience, in cinema that's going to be seen by millions of people. So no disrespect to Black AF. Black AF is actually a funny show. It's very interesting. It's not that bad, but I'm sorry. I don't like this idea of other people culturally appropriating black people in all these crazy ways. And what's really fascinating, you don't think about this, but this is real deep. A lot of times, the only times you really identify and notice cultural appropriation is when the appropriator is white. If a Kardashian or Rachel Dolezal comes in and takes blackness and sells it to the world or runs off with it and makes a big money bag, you get that part. You'll get that. We're outraged over that. But what about when a black person does that? What about when a black person culturally appropriates? And just says, I'm going to take black culture, I'm going to go sell it to Netflix, or I'm Dr. Dre, I'm going to take Compton culture, and I'm going to sell it to the world and make me $1 billion, right? And then go give, 20 million or whatever he gave to USC, University of Southern California, a racist school that doesn't hire black professors and mistreats its black students. We got to speak up on that too. It doesn't mean that we should cancel people or beat them up. I'm not into the cancel stuff. I'm not saying that Black AF should be canceled. I'm not even telling you what your opinion should be. I'm just telling you to open your mind and pay attention when all these things are happening around you, because that will help us solve the ultimate puzzle. The ultimate puzzle that we must solve in our community is, why is it that a few elite Negroes are doing well and the masses of black people are not doing well? Why is it that you have so many black millionaires out in Hollywood, but millions of black people, who are feeling the pain? Why is it that you can have so many successful black people, allegedly, so much symbolism, but yet so little substance? Right? We must solve that equation. Now, how do you register for Black Movie Night? I forgot to mention that. You can go to blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. Somebody please type in blackmovienight.net. And also, you guys use the hashtag Black Movie Night because we really want to make this a thing. The film tonight is called The Melanin Code by Marcus Small. Marcus Small is the director. He's a brilliant brother. His film is really good. If you like films like Hidden Colors, stuff like that, and actually if Tariq sees this video, or y'all know Tariq Nasheed, tell him I'm going to reach out to him because I would love for him to join us for a Black black movie night if he's willing to do that. I want to respect his copyrights and his franchise though, because I don't know how Tariq would feel about doing a public screening online like that. But I just want to make it clear that I love Tariq and I love what he's doing. I think that he represents the essence of what I would like to see on a bigger scale. Like I bet you the Hidden Colors series from the black community, in terms of a black-owned franchise, has probably made over $10 million or more. I would like to see a multi-billion-dollar industry. I would like to see lots of what Rick Mathis and I refer to as blackbusters. Blackbusters are films that come out of the community, that are made by us, supported by us, funded by us, where black folks flock to go see the film, and we're creating our own movie stars, our own award shows, our own production companies, just all of that. And it's not no Tyler Perry, I'm gonna put on a dress for white people type stuff. No disrespect to Tyler, but that's kind of what it is. Y'all know what it is, right? Or it's not some, like I got a big deal with Netflix and white folks are paying me money to appropriate black culture and sell it and have a bunch of Jewish writers on my project. Like so we got to just kind of think about what that looks like. The last piece I want to mention, the masterclass, my financial Juneteenth investing masterclass starts May 6th. And so just for today, until the end of today, you can actually get 48% off if you're interested in joining the masterclass. We cover all aspects of investing. It's very popular. You're going to love it. And there's a money-back guarantee if you don't love it, but everybody loves it. It's really, really good. So if you're interested in joining the masterclass, you can get the discount up until the end of today by going to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. So somebody please put that in the chat, drboycemasterclass.com. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, all that good stuff. All right, so here's a few things I want to lay out. Just in case anybody's interested in actual facts and data and not just political spin. Here's where we stand in terms of the crisis with the viruses and all this other good stuff. Well, not good stuff, it's bad stuff. All this stuff. I had the data on my screen. Here's numbers. Here's actual numbers. This is not opinions. This is not innuendo. This is not me trying to promote, a vaccine. This is where we really are right now with the virus and the numbers. Damn it. Hold on. I had the screen up and I don't know what happened to it. So give me a second here. Let me see. Because every day, in case you guys want to know what I do, I'm such a nerd that every day I like to look and see how many deaths we've had in the U.S. How many deaths, how many cases, and what's the probability of catching it, and what's the probability of dying if you haven't caught it, and what's the probability of dying if you have caught it. Right now in the United States, right this second, this is according to worldometer.info, which I guess it looks like they get their data from the CDC, if I'm not mistaken. There are 852,000 cases in the United States, 852,610. There are 48,295 deaths. So 10% of 852,000 is about 85,000. So 48,000 is a little bit more than half of 85,000. So that's about 5%. So that means, according to this data, that if a random person catches it, they have a 5% chance of dying, right? If a person catches it, if 20 people catch it, 19 will live, 1 will die, according to the data. Also, according to the data, again, I'm leaning on the data. If you get mad at me, don't get mad at me. Get mad at the facts. If you're gonna get mad, don't get mad at me. Get mad at the facts. If you're gonna get mad, don't get mad at me. Get mad at whoever told you that facts don't matter. The other reality that I reiterate to you is that the person that does die, that one person out of 20 infected that does die, is usually going to be a senior citizen. They don't talk about it much in the media, but 91% of the people, I think this was in Italy, which was a real hot spot for the virus. 91% of those people, if I'm not mistaken, were senior citizens. It was either Italy or the U.S., one of the two, but they basically said about 91% of the people were older, like over 70, stuff like that. So they said that if you're under 50 and you catch it, it's like 1 in 100 that it's going to kill you. It can kill you. But the question becomes, but there's a lot of things that can kill you. Like, so for example, I asked you guys yesterday, there's a lot of contagious infectious diseases that can kill you. HIV can kill you. In Atlanta, there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of black people right now who are infected with HIV. Did y'all know that? How many of y'all knew that? How many of you, give me a yes or no, how many of you knew that if you go down to Atlanta right now, you send your daughter down to Clark or Spelman to go to school, she got to be real careful, because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of young people down there that are HIV positive, and a lot of them are switch hitters. A lot of them are swinging the bat from both sides of the plate, if you know what I'm talking about. In fact, there was a story, and this is a true story, real life. There was a young lady that went to one of the schools in the Big Three. I'm not gonna say which one, because I don't want to triangulate in on a person or anything like that. But she said that she had a friend who got this infection in her, you know what, and she went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, the reason you have the infection is because you have feces inside your uterus. Like, there's feces inside your uterus. And she was like, but that's not where I shit. Like, how do I have feces inside my uterus? Of course, she's mortified. And it was basically because she had a boyfriend who was also somebody else's boyfriend, or maybe her boyfriend was somebody else's girlfriend, or whatever, however you want to describe it. And so, again, it's not meant to scare anybody or to be doom and gloom about it. It's just about keeping it 100. There are other infectious things out here that people can catch. And, I haven't seen anybody proposing that we ban unprotected sex. Like maybe we should have a law that says if you have sex without a condom, you should go to jail, right? If you want to keep everybody safe, then especially you go to a hotbed like Atlanta, where tens of thousands of people are being infected by this stuff. I was actually stunned. There was a young lady I talked to, actually, I'm sorry, not a young guy, a young lady, who told me, she said, yeah, one of my friends told me that all his friends have HIV, and that if you don't have it, then they think that you haven't been indoctrinated yet. Like, you haven't been, like, it's just a thing. Like, it's like, okay, everybody got it, So I think I'll make that point just to say that when you use the term, when you say black people are in danger, that term confuses me, because I don't believe, it doesn't mean I don't agree with you. I've always felt that black people are in danger, right? If you go back in time, you'll know I've always been saying to black folks, you in danger, y'all. Get your shit together. You in danger, y'all. And David Banner was bringing this point up when he was talking to T.I. this morning. He was basically saying, I think Tip was saying it. Well, actually, they were both saying it, talking about, strengthen your immune system. Make sure you exercise, make sure you eat right, make sure you drink warm tea and warm, and do all these other things, right? And so when you tell me black people are in danger, it tells me either you've been asleep up until this point, or that you're carried away in the moment, right? Like, because I'm sitting there thinking, you didn't know black people were in danger before? Like, you never thought do you think that once this is over, we'll be safe again? Is that what you believe? Like, you really believe that once this is done, black people won't be in danger anymore? So because I can tell you this. If Barack Obama came out right now, because Barack Obama, he's being funded by a lot of big corporations and stuff like that. So what if Barack Obama came out and started saying, everything's cool, y'all. I talked to Dr. Fauci and the scientists, and we believe that now is a good time for you to go to work. If he came out and said that, people would start going to work. The people would start feeling safe again. And what it reminds me of is, does anybody remember this? This is, some of y'all might know this, some of you don't. Give me a yes or no if you knew about this. In Michael Moore's movie, where I forgot what the movie was called, but he actually showed where Obama went to Flint right after the water crisis. He went to Flint, and all the black people are like, yeah, Lord Jesus, Obama gonna come here. He gonna tell this governor off. He gonna make it right, y'all. He gonna come stand up for the people of Flint. And so, do you know the first thing Obama does is he gets up in front of the crowd, and they're thinking he's gonna let that governor have it, like he's gonna lay down the law because he's president now. He takes a glass of water. He says, I got a little thirsty, so I got some water out of the tap, and he starts drinking the water, and basically tells the people that the water's safe. Did anybody see that? Tell me if you saw that. That was in the Michael Moore movie. I swear, I'm not making this up. Go watch that movie. I can't remember the name of it, though. Somebody say the name in the chat. But literally, he went out and he was, they basically got him. They convinced him, however they convinced him, I don't know. But they convinced him to go tell, they basically say, go tell black people that the water is okay so that they won't be scared of the Flint water anymore. And we know that if there's anything you should be afraid of, it should be the water of Flint. So the thing about it is that you got to be careful about. It's okay to have an opinion, but you have to be thoughtful about who's forming your opinion and whether your opinion just happens to run right down party lines. Right down party lines. And the thing about brainwashing is that most of the time, most people who are brainwashed don't, they swear that they're not. I got some relatives who watch Fox News all day, and I'll be listening to the words that come out of their mouth, and I'll be like, wow, you're really reciting word for word what Sean Hannity said on that show. That's amazing. They use the same terms, same everything. And then I got another relative I'm thinking about who watches MSNBC all day, and she will recite MSNBC word for word. It's fascinating to me. And what makes it really sad is that I see black people dividing families over, these political issues. They think that they're safety health issues, right? So they're like, I'm not speaking to my dumbass cousin because he's stupid and he wants everybody to die because he thinks people should go back to work, right? So you think it's a safety issue, but really it's a political issue disguised as a safety issue. Right? It's like when my daddy used, very wise man. My daddy used to say, he and my mom have been married 45 years. And he said, most marriages, the arguments in most marriages usually come down to money, kids, or sex. He said, now you might think you arguing about something else. You might really think you arguing because she burnt the chicken that night. But really you arguing over money, kids, or sex. Right? So we think that the whole divide is, about health and keeping people safe and things like that. When really, or the conservatives think it's about freedom, like my freedom. When really, it's Democrat Republican. It's socialism versus capitalism. Don't understate that. There is a battle going on. It's like that when you go to church and the pastor tells you stories about the intergalactic battle between good and evil and how God and Satan have been fighting for thousands of years and across the universe. Like socialism and capitalism have been battling each other for a long time. So when you're seeing the captains of industry, the Fox News types, the billionaires, they're fighting against the Ocasio-Cortezes, whatever that Latin lady is out of New York. They're fighting, because she's, and the Bernie Sanders is, they're very hardcore socialists, and then you got the hardcore capitalists. Now, I'm not here to tell you that you should be a capitalist or a socialist. Really, if you want my preference, I don't believe you should be either one. I believe you should be a little bit of both. Because capitalism has its problems. It has a lot. In fact, the reason that this crisis has caused the country to struggle is because it's a huge failing of capitalism. Because the healthcare system, you pay more for healthcare than any group of people on the planet. The amount of money you pay for healthcare, you should not have these kinds of issues. The amount of money that Americans pay for healthcare, you should have had 100 million masks, 100 million test kits available on deck, ready to test everybody. South Korea got past this real fast. South Korea was like, we ain't shutting down shit. We got people got to feed their families. We ain't shutting down no businesses. People gonna keep their jobs. We got to get past this. So you know what they did? It was real simple. They just were like, we're gonna test everybody. We're going to test everybody. We're going to quarantine the most vulnerable, and we're going to keep it moving so that nobody has to go through a financial struggle, right? The U.S. wasn't ready. The U.S. was not ready. And it ain't like nobody told them that this was coming. People have been talking for a long time about pandemics and being prepared, but there's something about capitalism and the greed of capitalism that causes you to be very short term in your thinking, very myopic, very caught in the moment. And so a lot of the decisions that are being made by the people at the top, the bankers and the wealthy and things like that, are decisions that benefit them now, but are going to be very, very harmful to this country in the future. So the socialists have a point. They have a point. But the problem for the socialists is that they get a little bit too idealistic and a little bit too naive about the realities that people are facing. In politics, they have an old saying in politics that says it's the economy, stupid, which means that most people aren't going to get into your Marxist fantasies about what a communist socialist society should look like. They don't give a shit. They don't care whether you think boys and girls should use the same bathroom, or that we should look at immigration in a certain way or whatever. People care about being able to feed their damn kids. And I don't give a shit who you are. I think the perfect compromise for this situation is basic. Here's what I think it should be. If you talk about freedom, people having freedom to do what they want, I say we just say, look, if you want to go out and go to work and you feel comfortable taking that risk and you feel like you can protect yourself from that risk, then go to work, because you got to work. Maybe you're an essential worker. Maybe you need the damn money. Maybe you have bills. And I don't know. How many of y'all, give me a yes or no, how many of you in here have bills that you have to pay? How many of you have bills you got to pay and you have to work to pay your bills? Right? So everybody in this category who says yes to that question, at some point, I'm not going to blame you for what you got to do to feed your family, right? But then on the flip side, if you do get sick, you're going to pay your own medical bills, right? The people that stayed home should not have to deal with that. But on the flip side of that, anybody who is staying home but demanding other people stay home, like I'm looking at you, I'm sitting over here, I got plenty of money in the bank, right? Because I got a trust fund, and I have $500,000 in my trust fund, so I'm good. I can sit at home and be an idealistic socialist and fantasize, have wet dreams about Marxism and communism and socialism and all these other things, and read these, these big, thick 1,000-page books about the beauties of socialism, and I can do that, right? As I sit around and enjoy my artwork, but I can't look at that person down the block, who has to go work at the factory in order to make the payment on the car and on the house, and who's already 2 or 3 months behind on the bills to begin with, who doesn't have great credit, who doesn't have rich relatives, who doesn't have a lot of resources, who's got children that he has to feed. That person might logically, again, as an economist, I can tell you that there is a logical trade-off where a person who's hungry enough is willing to take a little bit of a risk. That's how the hell you think they get people to sign up to go into the military? Like in the military, I mean, that's a great place to die. Going into the military is a great place to die. But even during times of war, they can still get people that will show up and say, I want to go. Why are they doing that? Well, because they need the money. They got bills to pay. They got family to take care of. So when you make naive statements like, oh, well, you're giving your life up in order to save capitalism, that's a bunch of bullshit, because this ain't about saving capitalism. It's about saving my damn kids. And then also, a person who goes out the house is not giving up their life. It'd be different if there was 20 people standing outside their house with machine guns who were going to open up the firing squad as soon as you walk out the door and you're guaranteed to die. No, this is something where if they have 10,000 people in a room, one person is going to die. The other 9,999 are going to be just fine. They're just going to be traumatized because they watched that one person die. It goes back to slavery. How do you think a slave master could have a gun with 6 bullets and control 500 slaves? How do you think a slave master could have one gun with 6 bullets and control 500 slaves? He can't kill them all, right? But the slaves are all controlled because they're all thinking, well, damn, I don't want to be the one to get shot, right? But then that goes back to the point of understanding the trade-offs. Malcolm X used to talk about this, the trade-offs and the price of freedom. He used to say, what was the price of freedom? Somebody tell me what Malcolm said was the price of freedom. Somebody, it's one word, type it in there. Tell me what Malcolm said was the price of freedom. Say it. Type that one word. What's the price of freedom according to Malcolm X? The price of freedom is, I'm waiting on an answer, death. He said the price of freedom is death. So, when you imagine 500 slaves that you realize, like, okay, I don't want to be shot, but Master only got 6 bullets and there's 500 of us. The price of freedom is very high, right? And it's a trade-off that nobody can make for them. Like we can't, Monday morning quarterback slavery. Like we can't sit here and talk about what we would have did and would have done at that time. None of us knows that. But theoretically, all it would take for that group, and this is how slaves became liberated in Haiti, in my view, is that you got 500 slaves that are like, they got 6 bullets. We want to be free. We want to free 500 people. They got 6 bullets. So that means in order for us to free 500 people, we can't free 500 people, but we can free 494 people we can free 494 people, and the price we will have to pay is 6 deaths to free 409. So to improve the plight of 494 people, 6 of us are going to have to die. They made that sacrifice. They made that trade-off. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you at all that this is the same thing. This is not the same thing. There are analogies that apply, but I want to make sure we don't get too carried away with that analogy. But my point is to say that there are people who logically have just said, you know, I know that there is, according to what Dr. Watkins told me by using CDC data, there is a 1 in, maybe a 1 in 700 chance I might catch this illness if I go out of the house. 852,000, if you divide that in 331 million, 1% of the country is about 3.31 million. So 850,000 is approximately 1/4 of 1% of the country. 1/4 of 1% of the country. So about 0.25%, right? So 1/4 of 1% of the country, that's about 1 in every 400 to 500 people, something like that, that will catch it. But then when you catch it, there's a 1 in 20 chance you're going to die from it if you're over the age of 70. Now, if you're under 60 or under 70, or if you're, 35, 40 years old, then your odds of dying, if you catch it, are really low. So it's like it's almost like winning the lottery twice. First, you got to be the 1 in 500 to catch it. This is according to data. This is accurate information. Anything that contradicts this, in my opinion, is false information that you're getting from people that have a political motivation to get you to believe what they want you to believe. I'm not telling you what to believe. The only thing I'm asking you to commit yourself to is truth. It's facts. And open, honest self-reflection. Because I don't think these people have your best interests at heart. So again, if you're taking that risk of leaving the house, which I'm not going to take. I'm not taking that risk because I don't have to. I've been quarantining myself from white folks since 1999. Since I was in grad school. When I was in grad school, I said I actually like being at home and I like being away from racist people who are going to treat me like shit every day. So I'm going to figure out a way that I can work from home for the rest of my life. So I'm not making that trade-off. So don't think I'm telling people to get up and leave the house, because that would make me a little bit hypocritical because I'm not doing it. But it would also be hypocritical for me to force you to stay home like me when I'm doing okay financially. I'm married to Claire Huxtable. Like, she's got a career. She's a therapist. She's seeing clients. She's making money. I'm making money. We're good. Like, our kids are spoiled. We have to work on them because they're like the little blackish kids, little black. You know, anybody go through that where you got like little kids in your house that ain't never been through shit, and you get mad at them because they don't understand how good they got it. Like our kids are like that. Our kids are the black AF, blackish type kids. That are okay. We ain't never gonna have no problem being homeless and none of that, right? So what that does though is that limits my ability, my right to tell somebody what to do if they're in a different situation from me. So what I'm really advocating for is a couple of things. I'm advocating for intelligent critical thinking. I'm advocating for non-political based fact sharing, where you're looking at actual data, not just your favorite commentator or your favorite politician. I'm also looking for freedom of people to do what they feel they need to do. I'm also looking for empathy, where just because you do something different from what I want to do doesn't make you stupid, doesn't mean I shouldn't be your friend anymore. And also I'm looking for something that might symbol a little bit of black unity. I don't really like when politicians divide black people. I don't like it when I see black people fighting and unfriending each other on social media because I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican. I don't give a shit what politician you voted for, because that to me is about as relevant to the progress of black people as the color of shoes that you wear when you go to the NFL Combine. If you go to the NFL Combine, the color of your shoes is not going to get you signed to a team or keep you off of a team. It has nothing to do with that. So at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't give a fuck about who you voted for. It doesn't matter. It makes you feel a certain way, but it just doesn't make a difference. The data says that. If all black people switched and started voting Republican, it's not like our lives would all get better. If we keep voting Democrat, it's not like our lives are all going to get better. So that's what it is. So I want you to pay attention to the things that actually matter. I want you to look at the data. I want you to, consider the realities of this situation. Here's another point I want to throw out there. You can't tell me at this point that there's not an agenda for a vaccine. I am completely convinced at this point. This is not conspiracy theory. I've seen all the conspiracies and all that, and I think that there's, you know, possibilities out there. But I'm not big on conspiracies. I like facts. But you can't tell me that when this is done, after they scare the shit out of people, that they're not going to start pushing to make it mandatory for everybody to inject the vaccine in their body. And I'm not completely convinced yet that there's not a connection between some of these other vaccines and things like autism. I don't know. At the very least, tell me where all the damn autism has come from. How come so many kids have autism now and it was extremely rare 40, 50 years ago? Like, you know, because I know enough about capitalism, because you guys know I'm a finance professor. I know enough about capitalism and economics to know that money is the ultimate drug. Money is the ultimate drug, and capitalists are drug addicts. Capitalists are crackheads. They are economic crackheads. Hardcore capitalists are economic crackheads that are addicted to a drug called money. And the person that will lie to you the most is a fucking crackhead. A crackhead will look you in the eye and tell you a whole story, and none of that story will be true because all they thinking about is the crack. Anybody ever had a drug addict in your family or alcoholic or whatever? You know what I'm talking about? Drug addicts are amazing in how they can really lie to you, because in their mind they really think it's the truth, and then they'll just go do something completely different from what they said they were going to do, and you're like, damn, he looks so sincere. I had a friend that I knew. He ain't really that close to my friend because I don't mess with you. You get involved in drugs, I'm gonna distance myself. I'm gonna do social distancing at that point. But I kid you not. It was really sad. He went out to Hollywood when he was a kid. He was one of those child actors. You know how these child actors end up crazy. But his mama thought it was like a great thing that he was being sent to Hollywood. But what she didn't know was that when he went to Hollywood, they introduced him to cocaine. And this is at the age of 14. With the forming of the human brain at that early age, if you're introduced to a powerful drug like cocaine, it just never goes away. So he's been a cocaine addict for 35, 40 years. And I saw him one time, and I sat there, and I swear to God, I listened to him talk for an hour and a half all day about how he was done with cocaine. He wasn't gonna mess with it. He went to jail. He learned his lesson. Jesus got him over the drug. And I remember I said, so what kind of rehab are you gonna do? And he said, you know what my rehab is? I said, what's your rehab? He said, I got on my knees and talked to Jesus, and Jesus told me that I said, oh my God, he's going back to jail. He's going back to jail. And lo and behold, a week later, he was back in jail again. Because the power of the drug can exceed any sort of internal discipline or fortitude you think you might have, or any sort of ethics that you think you might subscribe to. So why do I say that? Well, because I can't help but feel that in a situation like this, where there's complete chaos happening in the world right now, where the world is kind of going berserk, there are the sheep and there are the sharks, right? The sheep and the sharks. The general population of the sheep, they can be led around and, oh, well, we're going to put a story out there and we're going to spin it this way, and then we're going to get, 100 million people to be afraid and blah, blah, blah. That's what the sheep do. The sheep just, are kind of just like a tennis match, just following along whatever the media says. Then there's the sharks. The sharks are like, you know what? It's there's chaos right now. I can go loot that store over there. Or everybody's around here tripping, so this is my opportunity to make my big power move, right? And so basically the sharks in this situation, they see this as a huge opportunity. The hardcore capitalists see this as an opportunity to make money, and I'm not even going to say that this is not relevant in the sense that I've talked to my students who are investors, and I've said, you do understand how much money there is to be made in the stock market right now. Like we've talked about that, right? So I like to raise a few sharks as long as you ain't hurting nobody, as long as you ain't out here stealing from nobody. I want you to get ahead, or I might say, the real estate market's going to collapse. So if you got some extra cash flow, you might want to take some time to look into buying some distressed properties, because there's going to be a lot of bankruptcies and a lot of foreclosures coming up. You do understand that, right? But the thing is that you also have the big sharks, the big corporations, things like that are positioning themselves to make money, and the vaccine is a part of that. The vaccine vaccine, to me, is a part of the shark agenda, because what they want to do, I believe, is get people so afraid that they're going to submit to the idea of being forced to take a vaccination. That's the first thing. Second thing is, when you talk about surveillance, security and surveillance, one of the consistent themes I've heard people discuss on a regular basis is the fact that we've got to really surveil people. We've got to follow them around and track people to make sure that they're social distancing, right? And now again, knowing what I know about the government and how the government thinks, I'm going to bet that they're going to use that surveillance technology for things other than just checking social distancing, right? So so that's what it is, right? I find some way to infiltrate by saying, oh, it's for your safety, I'm keeping you safe. But then later on, when it comes time for me to, monitor you in some other way, or find something else about you, or monitor you as a black extremist or whatever, then I'm going to use the technology for that too, because I'm going to think it's for the good of the country. So the other piece, and I mentioned before, the Democrats versus the Republicans, a lot of this is heating up extra hard because it's an election year. If it wasn't an election year, a lot of this stuff wouldn't be happening the way that it's happening. There wouldn't be so much outcry, for example, over the racial disparity over this, because again, there's been racial disparities since forever. There's a ton of racial disparities on wealth. They never talk about that one. They never talk about fixing the wealth gap, but they'll talk all day about fixing the corona gap. The interesting thing about the virus is nobody can really talk about what it's actually done. The damage that the virus has actually done is very small compared to the fact that to what they're saying it could do, right? So they don't really have anything that they can really lean on in terms of data. Like I just gave you guys the data, 852,000 infections, 48,000 deaths. So that means that you have a 1 in 500 chance of catching it, and about a 1 in 7,000 chance of dying from it. So you get up in the morning, just know everybody who gets up in the morning and goes to work and walks out of the house, you have a 1 in 7,000 chance of dying. That means if 7,000 of you get up and leave, one person is going to die. 6,999 are going to survive. Are you willing to take that chance? I'm not the one to tell you that is a chance you should or should not take, because again, I'd be hypocritical because I'm not taking it. I'm staying in the house, not so much for safety. I'm quarantining from white supremacy. And I've been doing that quarantine for 20 years. But at the same time, I think it's up to you to be able to make that decision. So those are my thoughts on it. I enjoyed listening to T.I. and Banner talk about it. I think it's great that we have rappers that, like these guys that are really taking responsibility for their community. I don't agree with everything T.I. says. Some stuff I hear him say, I kind of wish I could help him tighten it up a little bit. Banner is like he's like a you ever imagine like going to Tibet and meeting like the wise man at the top of the mountain? Like Banner is like a hood version of the wise man at the top of the mountain in Tibet. Like he's, I talked to him. I have a lot of respect for Banner because when we talk, he always says something where I'm like, that's a great thought. Okay, let me process that. I like that. Like I feel like he's a real intellect, and I love that. Not that T.I.'s not that other people aren't. But I respect Banner a lot because there's something unique there. The three Atlanta rappers I'm friends with Killer Mike also. Killer Mike is great too. Like he's a great activist. But unfortunately, I don't like all that Bernie Sanders talk and all that. I'm not into that. And so we disagree sometimes. But like out of those guys, like Banner kind of stands out a little bit. If you guys haven't checked out Banner, like check him out. He's an interesting guy, and T.I.'s doing great. I mean, I just think those guys in Atlanta, like they set the trend. Like Atlanta is doing a huge service to hip hop, and I'm not talking about the garbage rappers in Atlanta. You know what I'm talking about. You got the ones that really promote things that are killing black people every day. And again, if you're gonna be upset about black people dying from this virus, then you need to also think about all the other viruses that have been infiltrated into the community. When you got rappers like Future that are mass promoting drug addiction that's killing thousands and thousands of black people on a regular basis, you can't talk about corona and not talk about that. Like, I mean, if you're concerned about death, then you should be talking about all the forms of death. If you're talking about one thing and not talking about the other, that tells me that you have an agenda. And that's a problem. You got to be consistent. That's the idea. A lot of people aren't consistent. They go with whichever way the wind's blowing or whatever's popular. And I don't respect that. Because if you follow me, if you paid attention to me for the last several years, one thing you'll know is that I'm consistent. If you think I'm great, I'm consistently great. If you think I'm an asshole, I'm gonna be a consistent asshole in the sense that I'm gonna tell you what I'm thinking, and I don't really give a shit about what's popular at the time. I'm not trying to be I've never been the cool kid in school, so there's no pressure whatsoever in any vein in my body to be liked and popular to anybody. My goal at the end of the day is to be able to sleep at night and know that I actually stood true to what I really believe in, and that's what it is. That's what you always gonna get. So anyway, I'm gonna go, guys. Last but not least, today, Dr. Claude Anderson will be on at 2:15 on drboystv.com. He's a great black man. Everybody should listen to him. drboystv.com, 2:15 p.m. Eastern. Number 2. And if you're watching a recording, you can go to drboystv.com and find the video. Number 2, Black Movie Night is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can register at blackmovienight.net. That's blackmovienight.net. Somebody type that in the chat, please, so others can see it. blackmovienight.net. You can register there. Number 3. And the film is The Melanin Code by Marcus Small. We got to support our black filmmakers. Number 3, the Investing Masterclass starts on May 6th. So if you'd like to get a 48% discount for the next till midnight tonight, that's when the discount ends. You can go to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. It's really, really cool. You're gonna love it. Everybody loves it. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great day. Hit that thumbs up button before you go. Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me flesh all this out. And y'all know how I am. I got all these thoughts in my brain, and it feels good to be able to let it out. And I'm glad that there are some smart, woke enough black people out here that can appreciate a black man who's trying to really think it through, and not somebody who's going along with the fads. So I honor you, and I appreciate the fact that you all exist, because sometimes you feel alone when you're like trying to really understand things as opposed to just doing what everybody else is doing. So I love you guys for that. So thank you. Have a good day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to code, sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same empire back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.